Procedures for Operating Guidance for GMDSS, Distress, Urgency and Safety Traffic, Distress Alert VHF DSC, Distress Alert MF HF DSC, Distress Alert Inmarsat Fleet 77, EPIRB and SART, Search and Rescue, False Alert. This is a presentation of the GMDSS operating guidance for masters of ships in distress situations. The first of three main questions: is the vessel sinking or to be abandoned? Your ship is to be abandoned. You may have time only for the quickest effective alerting by DSC or Inmarsat. If not, just collect your EPIRB, SART and portable VHF and board your lifeboat or raft. The second question for you: is immediate help needed? If you don't need to leave the ship immediately, transmit your distress alert by DSC or Inmarsat. When you receive a response, follow up by detailed communications with RCC and other ships. If you do not receive a response to your distress alerts, switch on the EPIRB and SART manually on board your ship. The third question for you: is there a potential problem? Send an alert by DSC or Inmarsat. Communicate by radio or Inmarsat when a response is received from RCC or other ships. GMDSS is developed to ensure distress and safety communications all around the world. GMDSS gives a very easy distress alerting ship to shore using the push-button distress alerting. This is followed by subsequent communications such as distress, traffic, search and rescue, and on-scene communications. This is a typical distress call before GMDSS. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is sea wind, sea wind, sea wind, Mayday, sea wind. My position is 50 degrees, 26.7 minutes north, 000 degrees, 54.3 minutes west. Fire in the engine room. Need immediate assistance. 20 men on board. Visibility good. Rough sea. Over. The distress alert in GMDSS should be sent through a satellite or the MF/HF and VHF bands using Digital Selective Calling DSC, to be followed by traditional subsequent communications to ensure that the rescue operation starts as soon as possible. The distress alert indicates the ship's identification, MMSI, the nature of distress, the position, the time the position was valid, and the preferred type of subsequent communication. An RCC or CRS receiving a distress alert should transmit the acknowledgement on the distress calling frequency on which the call was received, and it should be addressed to all ships. The acknowledgement should include the identification of the ship whose distress call is being acknowledged. The coast station should then transmit a distress relay call when the person responsible for the coast station considers that it's appropriate to do so. A ship acknowledges the distress alert by radio telephony on the distress frequency for the band in which the DSC distress alert or distress relay alert was received. That is, 2182 kHz on MF, appropriate HF frequency on HF, and channel 16 on VHF. When acknowledging a distress call, every vessel or ship station should wait to see if a coast station answers first. Here is one example.
Mayday, 987654321, 987654321, 987654321. This is Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo. Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo. Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo. Received Mayday.
Distress traffic is all communications relating to the immediate assistance required by the ship in distress, including search and rescue communications and on-scene communications. Distress traffic by radio telephony should be prefixed by the distress signal Mayday. In order to maintain radio silence in the area of distress, the station in charge of the operations and the ship in distress can impose radio silence on stations interfering with the distress traffic.
All stations, all stations, all stations. Silence, Mayday.
All other ships than the ship in distress and the station in charge of the distress radio traffic may impose radio silence on interfering stations with the following procedure.
All stations, silence, distress. This is Enterprise, Romeo, Golf, India, Echo.
Until the distress traffic has ceased, all other stations should leave the distress frequencies entirely to the rescue communications. The Rescue Coordination Center in charge of the operation should indicate that the distress traffic for this operation has finished by sending the following message.
Mayday, all stations, all stations, all stations. This is Land's End Radio, Land's End Radio, Land's End Radio. Silence, fini.
The urgency signal pan-pan indicates that the calling station has an urgent message concerning the safety of a person or ship. The urgency traffic should be an announcement made on one of the distress and safety calling frequencies. For example, terrestrial communications via DSC. The urgency message should then be sent on radio telephony or radio telex on the distress and safety traffic channel.
Pan-pan, pan-pan. Pan-pan, all stations, all stations, all stations. This is Markham, 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 Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo. Position 50 degrees 26.7 minutes north, 000 degrees 54.3 minutes west. We are disabled and adrift. Please be alert.
When there is no longer a need for specific actions to this urgency, the following message should be sent.
All stations, all stations, all stations. This is Markham, 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 Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo. We are no longer adrift. My pan-pan at 0125 UTC is cancelled.
The safety signal consists of the word sécurité. It indicates that the calling station has an important navigational or meteorological warning to transmit. The safety signal can be sent either via satellite or via terrestrial system. The safety signal should be an announcement made on one of the distress and safety frequencies using, for example, terrestrial communications via DSC. The safety message should normally be sent on radio telephony or radio telex on the distress and safety channel.
Security, security, security. All stations, all stations, all stations. This is 00219-2345 Lingby Radio. Listen on channel 24 for gale warning number 317.
Make a designated distress alert call. Nature of distress is collision. Check that your position is correctly shown. Approve the distress alert when ready. Transmit the alert. Your distress alert is now transmitted. Approximate coverage is a circle with a radius of 20 nautical miles. Your distress alert is received by several ships and the coast station. Make your designated distress alert. You are the officer on watch on Markham, Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo. Your position is in the South Pacific. Make an Inmarsat Fleet 77 distress alert call to Goonhilly, UK, using telephony. Click on the handset to lift it, and then lift the lid and press the distress button for 5 seconds until beep sounds continuously. When the handset rings, take it off the cradle and use it for voice calling. To make a voice distress alert call to Goonhilly, follow the procedure as given in the manufacturer's manual of the specific Inmarsat Fleet 77 equipment on board your ship.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Markham, Markham, Markham. Call sign Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo. Calling via Inmarsat Fleet 77 from position 31 degrees, 31.5 minutes north, 049 degrees, 3.5 minutes west. My Inmarsat mobile number is 3256-43200, using satellite Atlantic Ocean Region East. I have fire on board. 22 crew members, no injuries, good visibility, calm sea. Need immediate assistance.
You have successfully sent a distress message on Inmarsat Fleet 77 using telephony. Make a distress call on telefax to Goonhilly, UK. Follow the manufacturer's instruction for sending a fax distress message. Click on the hotspot for EPIRB in the life raft to learn more. You are in the life raft. As you can see, the EPIRB is set to standby, which means that it will be activated automatically when it is in the water. Grab the EPIRB in the life raft and drag it into the water. The ferry Markham has sent out a distress alert. The ship is heavily listing and might sink. There are only a few passengers on board, together with the crew. The ferry was returning from the dockyard where it was being repaired, and it was supposed to start cruising again next week. A search and rescue operation has already started, and another ferry has been asked to lead this operation in the distress area. A search and rescue operation will be coordinated in order to get efficient activities going as soon as possible. You will find these in the operation. RCC, Rescue Coordination Centre, a unit responsible for promoting efficient organisation and for coordinating the operations within its region. RSC, Rescue Sub-Centre, a unit subordinate to a Rescue Coordination Centre, established to complement the RCC within a smaller region. OSC, On-Scene Commander, the specially trained commander of a rescue unit designated to coordinate search and rescue operations. CSS, Coordinated Surface Search, an ordinary ship other than a rescue unit designated to coordinate surface search and rescue operations. This might be you. Coast Station. The coast station is the communications link between units at sea and the Rescue Coordination Centre. This could also be the Coast Earth Station for satellite communications. You are the officer on watch. You have received the distress alert via MF-HF-DSC, specifying listing and the position of the ship in distress. You are sending an acknowledgement via MF radio 2182 kHz to the coast station, and they ask you to become the coordinator of the surface search, CSS. It is important to communicate with the ship in distress. You are told that they are abandoning the ship and that they will bring EPIRB, SART and portable VHF in the life rafts. You can now see the position of their SART on your radar screen. It is now your responsibility to relay this position to other ships in the area and to the coast station. It might take some time before the first ship arrives in the distress area. The life rafts without SARTs have drifted away from their initial position. Their most probable position, or datum, and the search area have to be calculated. In this case, we have 4 ships to conduct the search, and therefore they will search in parallel track. The distance between the search track is called spacing, and is here indicated as S miles. When only one ship arrives on scene, it should proceed directly to the datum and start an expanding square search. If possible, the datum may be marked by placing a life raft as a floating marker. When only one ship arrives on scene and the position of the search target is known within enclosed limits, it is better to start a sector search. All turns are 120 degrees to starboard. Start the search at the datum. All legs should be 2 nautical miles. Upon completion of the first search, reorient the pattern 30 degrees to the right and search again. This table shows the radar detection ranges. As you can see, the range depends on your radar scanner height and the size of the target. The track spacing for visual search depends on the size of the search object and the meteorological visibility. You can find this table in the International Aeronautical and Maritime Search and Rescue Manual, which should be on your bridge. You are now approaching the life rafts, and you are reporting your search operation to the coast station. You ask one of the ships to pick up the survivors, and then you report the result of this rescue operation to the coast station. IMO have adopted the International Aeronautical and Maritime Search and Rescue Manual to provide guidance to the master of any vessel which might be called upon to conduct search and rescue operations at sea for persons in distress. You should find this book on board, and we do recommend that you study it. In 1993, the Falmouth Rescue Coordination Centre received 860 Gmdss distress alerts, but only 26 of them were real. The staff have to follow up every call, which takes a lot of time. Even 6 years later, the high rate of false alerts had hardly been reduced. When you are in this situation and send out the distress call, you do not want your help to be delayed because of other false alerts. So, if you by accident have sent out a false alert, you need to know how to recall it before it triggers a rescue operation. Use the buttons below to go through the recommended methods.
All stations, all stations, all stations. This is Marcom, Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo, 265432-000, in position 45 degrees, 11 minute south, 49 degrees, 35 minutes west. Cancel my distress alert on 1st of May, 1530 UTC. Master Markham, Sierra Lima Uniform Bravo, 26543-2000, 1st of May, 1535 UTC.
If you have sent out the false alert, keep watch at the Gmdss station and wait for an acknowledgement. Communicate with the Rescue Coordination Center that has acknowledged the false alert. If no acknowledgement is received, contact any RCC or coast station. Make sure that all radio operators are aware of the serious consequences of a false alarm. Be careful with equipment that you are not familiar with. Routine testing should only be allowed under supervision of a designated operator. EPIRBs should only be tested by qualified personnel. The best way to avoid false alerts is to make sure that all personnel on the bridge are regularly trained on how to send distress alerts on the ship's radio equipment.